Hey everybody, Mackenzie here from Tuckaway Pines. Today I'm down in the preservation station and I wanted to show you guys such a simple, cheap way to make a very popular pantry spice that's in my pantry, which I'm sure is also in yours, and that is garlic powder. Garlic powder has so many applications in the kitchen. So delicious, and you can even use it to not only season your dishes with the garlic flavor, but also to create other spice mixes from other spices in your pantry as well. So today I wanted to show you guys how I make my own garlic powder, and I hope you guys enjoy. Making your own garlic powder is so much cheaper than buying the powder that is at the store in the long run, and you get so much more for your money, and also the product and the end result is just absolutely so much better than what you can get at the store. First step is to peel your garlic. I like to save the paper skins for my vegetable broth and stuff, so that's why I have this bowl here, just to put all my scraps in here. And this might be a very tedious part of the whole process, is peeling the garlic, especially each individual clove. I don't really know any fancy trick to peeling it, except for, and I'll kind of show you when I get there, is to kind of flex the clove itself. So, but like I said, I'll show you when I get there. But step one is to peel the papery skin off. You just want to, separate out your cloves, your individual little cloves. Now the fun part is to peel each individual clove. I'm kind of lucky there doesn't seem to be too many tiny ones, so kind of worth my time, if you will. Because if I had any really baby ones, I honestly probably would have just thrown them in here and used them to make vegetable broth, because that just all adds flavor and they won't go to waste then. But you do want to make sure that all the silver skin, all the paper skin is peeled off, and then just set that off to the side, because there's more that we're going to be doing. And if anyone has a trick on like a faster way of peeling garlic, that would be amazing if you could leave that in the comments. I really haven't found a trick. I don't want to go ahead and start, crushing them with a knife, because then that just makes it really just messy. Especially for for this instance, I don't need to be mushing a bunch of garlic. I guess one little trick, and I don't even know if it's a trick, but I'll take my clove, and I'll kind of demonstrate it at a closer view, but I'll take my clove and I'll kind of, not snap it, but I'll kind of bend it and flex it to get that skin to crack and break, and I'll be able to kind of peel it off at a section at a time. So. See how I'm doing this? This is a really tiny one, so it'll be kind of tricky. Oh, actually that one was kind of easy. Here's two bound together though, this one. So I just kind of take it and then I flex it a little bit to kind of get that paper to kind of get loosened off of the clove itself, and then just kind of pull it out. Almost like it's shedding, shedding its skin to grow bigger, like a snake. I don't know. But it seems to work. I don't know if that's the case for everybody, but maybe you're willing to give it a try. Ooh, see, this one's rotten. Yuck, we're gonna get rid of that. Okay, so I have finished finally peeling all of my garlic cloves. And next, what I'm going to do is cut them. I'm gonna slice them into just little slices, not gonna mince them or anything crazy. And then I'm actually gonna put them on a dehydrator tray. If you don't have a dehydrator, you are more than welcome to use your oven. That's totally perfect. Great way to do it. And a cookie sheet. I'll get more into detail when we get closer to that step, but for now, I am going to be using my dehydrator, and I'm going to be using a dehydrator tray. So this is my dehydrator tray, just a circular old, tray. It has the screen around it to hold anything there. But with it, I also have a mesh screen to go over my tray here. This is to kind of help hold anything that is smaller, any smaller bits. And because a lot of this garlic is kind of small, and when I slice it, it will be small pieces, this will work handy for me so nothing falls through these little holes. And if you don't have these, it's totally fine. You can use parchment paper. Just cut little sections of parchment paper to go over your tray if you have a tray like this, because the air will still pass through that paper. And then if you don't, obviously, like I said before, if you have an oven, you're going to be using a cookie sheet. Or if you happen to have like a pizza pan with the holes at the bottom, or like a tray with the holes in the bottom like that, that would work perfect as well. But again, like I said, just use a parchment paper so nothing falls through those holes. Okay, so I'm going to begin slicing my garlic cloves. And obviously, garlic is all different shapes and sizes, so it'll be tricky to say, make sure everything is the same size, blah, blah, blah. Just do your best. I guess, slice everything accordingly, maybe an 1/8 inch thick. I really don't know. Like I said, everything is just such a different variety of sizes, so just kind of do your best there. Okay, I have finally finished chopping up my garlic cloves, and now I'm just gonna spread them around my tray. Key is just to kind of have things spread out. It doesn't have to be perfect. They don't have to be, a certain space from each other. Just obviously not all piled on top. That way the air can pass around and over them and dry them out nice and evenly. And that's another thing is with dehydrating, especially garlic, everything is a different shape, size, and moisture content. So everything's going to dehydrate just a little bit differently at a different rate and time. So it is important to just kind of periodically check your dehydrator while dehydrating so things don't get overly crispy and that you know that everything is done. Okay, so my garlic is nicely dispersed on my tray here. Nothing is too clumped up or, piled on top of each other. And I will be putting it here on my dehydrator. This dehydrator has different temperature settings, and this actually has a nice temperature guide. And for fruits and vegetables, I can dehydrate it at 135 degrees Fahrenheit or 58 degrees Celsius for those overseas. But anyway, like I said earlier too, the time for dehydration will vary. I want to say roughly maybe 8 to 10 hours for this. It will vary due to the different sizes of the garlic. You have like a large slice like this versus a little chunk like that. So things will dehydrate a little differently. And based on thickness as well, like I sliced one, this is pretty thick compared to this guy here, that's pretty thin. So that'll dehydrate a little bit faster. And I also said earlier, if you don't have a dehydrator, you can use your oven. And if you are going to be using your oven, you can set your temperature all the way as low as your oven can go. That's maybe 150, 175, something like that. Maybe even less, depending on your oven. I don't know. But that is totally fine. As long as low as it can go. And just pop your tray of your garlic or what have you in your oven. And then keep the oven door just cracked a little bit. How it kind of has those little like stops or what have you. That first little stop, you want to have your oven door just cracked so the air can ventilate and the heat can kind of move around a little bit and it's not just, cooking or baking your garlic. So, and with it being at a higher heat, you could have potentially a less dehydration time. So it might work out a little bit faster in your favor. Just be sure to keep an eye on it, check it after a couple hours just to see how crispy and how dry things are, because you just don't want it to be too dry or too crispy to where it could burn, or it could just be like a rock where it's just like you don't even want to work with it, So that's another thing. And like I said, I'll be using a dehydrator. Luckily though, I only have one tray of this, so I won't have to babysit it too much. I don't have a timer with this model. If you do, that's great. And if you don't have a temperature or timer, you do kind of have to babysit it a little more. But what I was going for, but what I was getting at was I don't have multiple trays, so I won't have to rotate my trays. I like to do that kind of halfway through the dehydration process. That way things can, on the bottom, can get moved on top and vice versa, so they kind of get that heat more evenly and distributed more properly, if you will. At least the best that I can. So just a little tidbit if you didn't know that. And so I'm going to put these in the dehydrator. Get it all nice and set. Locked in. And then here we go. We'll be back in about 8 to 10 hours or so. I'm going to check them, see how dried out they are, and then we will go from there. Alrighty, so we're back in the preservation station, and it has been a few days, honestly. Got a little busy, got a little hectic around here. I'll kind of let you in on that in a different video. But with this, so we are dehydrating garlic for garlic powder. And I had it actually on the dehydrator for about 24 hours, so a little longer than I had said. I believe I said around 8 to 10 hours, maybe 10 to 12, something like that. Got crazy. I let them on the dehydrator a little longer than I had liked to and that I had said. But I did unplug the dehydrator, and then I kind of just didn't get to it right away. So I kind of sat down here for another day or so, and I came down here earlier today and just to check them to see how they were, if they were even good still, and they do. They feel very dry. I actually went to squeeze it and it all just kind of broke apart. So that's perfect. That's what we want. So I guess if you can't get to it right away, depending on your conditions, I mean, if you do live in a very humid area, you might want to be a little more on top of things. Fortunate for me, it's in the middle of winter and it is extremely dry here, so I kind of lucked out. So anyway, I'm going to grab my tray. Take this off to the side here. I ended up adding an extra tray. I had just a little bit extra garlic, so I just threw it on an extra tray and just added it on top. So I guess we really have 2.5 trays of garlic, and it looks all dried up. Smells really good actually, especially for sitting down here, kind of just hanging out for a day or two. So yeah, and the next part, which is super duper easy, is to obviously powder it, garlic powder. So if you do have a coffee grinder or a spice grinder of some sort, that would make this step go very fast, very easy for you. If you do have a coffee or spice grinder, please wash before and after using it, especially if it's a coffee grinder. You don't want your garlic to taste like coffee, and you don't want your coffee to taste like garlic. So there you go. But for me, I actually don't have any of those. I'm going to be doing it the old-fashioned way with my handy-dandy mortar and pestle. So, which it's not a big deal. I don't have a big batch, so it's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of put a little bit of the garlic in my mortar here. I don't want to overload it. I still need room to break things down, but, I just kind of feel, and if it breaks kind of like a chip, then it's nice and dry. If it does have some sort of flexibility to it, kind of bends and then breaks, there is some moisture still in there. So you might want to keep it on the dehydrator for a little bit longer. And that's if you didn't leave it on as long as I did, of course. So I'm just taking a few pieces here. I could really honestly put this whole sheet in because this wasn't a full tray without making a mess. Perfect. And then just smash away. Okay, so this is all in a nice fine powder. And it smells so strong. Like, you have no idea. I wish you could smell this through the camera. Smell-o-vision. But, yeah, this is definitely a lot stronger than any garlic powder you would get at the store by any means. Like, it's insane. So, and especially for, like I said, sitting as long as it did, it still is so aromatic. Oh my goodness. So, the next step is to grab my funnel and my little garlic powder jar here. Just going to try and top it off. Don't forget, label your stuff. You always want it labeled, that way you know what it is at all times. And then just put it in your jar. Just that easy. I mean, all you really need is time. Time to peel your garlic and cut it, and then just the time for it to dry. And then if you have to do it the hard way, time to break it down. So, but honestly, not that much effort, just some time and a little bit of a good old energy. So, and honestly, you could, if you live in a drier climate, you could probably do this, or in the summertime in your windowsill with the sun, kind of like a sun-dried tomato kind of thing. Super duper easy. So I'm going to continue to powder my garlic. Alrighty, everybody, as simple as that, garlic powder. And like I said, it looks so good. You know, it flows really well in the jar. It's all nice and dry. It's all fine powder, and it smells amazing. And the best part about it, so much cheaper than the store-bought stuff. You gotta say, like, this is probably maybe about 2 jars worth. Like, if you were to go to the store and you get 2 like shakers full of garlic powder, this is probably what 2 jars would be worth. Like, the amount would fill 2 jars or 2 shakers from the store. And this costed me, like, the one bulb of garlic costed me, what was it, $1.99, something like that. Very cheap, very inexpensive compared to your $2, $3, maybe even $4 spice shaker from this grocery store, depending on the brand and where you shop at. So seriously, guys, get on this, because it's so much better of a product, and it feels so much more rewarding, you know, saying, hey, I made this and everybody loves it, and it saves on the money. So win, 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 right? So I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys can, you know, take this and run with it, because it's very beneficial. Good little tip. Something so simple can go such a long way, you know, in so many different directions too. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If so, please leave a comment, please like, and please subscribe as well, so you don't miss out on any fun little videos, projects, and adventures here that we do on the homestead. So, bye guys. Have a great night.